Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett's unapologetic truth-telling has clearly ruffled the feathers of a few members of the MAGA movement because, as we know, if you want to be a MAGA Republican, you have to be a completely shameless liar. And so they really don't like the fact that she is very clear, honest, and direct in calling out their BS. And the person who is most upset when Jasmine Crockett calls out their lies is Nancy Mace, someone who continues to lose it more and more every day. I don't know if you've stumbled across her Twitter feed, but it's pretty troubling to say the least. But after a pretty intense interaction between the two of them last month, Jasmine Crockett is back again, calling out Nancy Mace, shutting her up, silencing her lies, and yeah, she's not happy about it. And we are going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into this latest clip, I think we have to flash back a little bit to that first interaction between them. A beautiful call out from Jasmine Crockett.
Somebody's campaign coffers really are struggling right now. So she gonna keep saying trans, trans, trans so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all to tell me whether or
Do
not.
not call me a child. I am no child.
I want
Don't
to
even
find
start.
out
I am a grown
which
woman.
of those
I am 47 years
emails
old. I have broken
actually
more
have.
glass ceilings than you
Chairman,
ever
I
will.
am reclaiming my
Let's go.
time.
You will not do that. I
Order.
am not a
Chairman,
child.
I am reclaiming my time.
If you want to take it outside,
Mr.
we can
Chairman,
do
the
that.
committee is not
Okay.
in order.
Order.
Point of order. Point of order.
Order.
What is so interesting to me about that moment is how it kind of takes Nancy Mace kind of like a couple of seconds to process what's going on. Like, she doesn't realize how much she's getting embarrassed. And then she gets called, child by Jasmine Crockett. And she takes a moment to be like, oh, I can make this just like a big circus. I can get all angry. I can pretend that I'm upset. It's not like a snap response. It's not like the bleach blonde, bad built butch body where immediately Republicans knew what was happening and pretended to be so offended on behalf of Marjorie Taylor Greene. We saw Nancy Mace needing a couple of seconds to realize, oh, I should make this a big media moment. And it was just so ridiculous the way that she responded. But of course, that is the way that a ridiculous person like her is going to respond. And in light of that, yesterday, Jasmine Crockett on The View decided to make a callback to that little event with Nancy Mace and once again call her out for her own failures, not only in Congress, but just in representing her state and the failures of her state in general. And I want to take a look at that right here.
Well, Congresswoman, you've earned a reputation for some calling out certain Republican antics. We all remember the viral bleach, blonde, bad-built, butch body moment with Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. And last month, things took quite a turn when you confronted Congresswoman Nancy Mace over her anti-trans rhetoric. Let's see the clip.
Somebody's campaign coffers really are struggling right now. So she gonna keep saying trans, trans, trans so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all to tell me whether or
Do
not.
not call me a child. I am no child.
I want
Don't
to
even
find
start.
out
I am a grown
which
woman.
of those
I am 47 years
emails
old. I have broken
actually
more glass
have.
ceilings than you
Chairman,
ever
I
will.
am
please.
reclaiming my
Let's go.
time.
You will not do that. I am not a
Chairman,
child.
I am reclaiming my time.
If you want to take it outside,
Mr. Chairman, the committee is not in order.
Order.
Point of order.
Okay, so I'm sure when she said that, she was just offering to go for coffee or something. But we understand that you received a very unnerving call after some of this.
I did. Obviously, we get tons of calls from lots of haters all the time, but there was actually someone who works for another sitting member of Congress that called from that congressional office to our office to try to basically say, yeah, I want to put money on this. I want them to go outside. That is completely inappropriate. Yeah. And I don't really care what side of the aisle. It is threatening, and I don't care what side of the aisle you come from, but it should never be okay for a staffer.
Okay, yeah.
And it wasn't okay for her either. I do want to point out that we are living in a time in which, people on the outside are following their lead, but instead of Nancy Mace challenging me to go outside to fight, what she should be fighting for is a better economy, especially for those in South Carolina that are about to feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And quickly, because we're short on time, that kind of gets to my next question, which is, for all of the criticisms that exist of Donald Trump, he right now has a 53% approval rating. It's higher than it's ever been. 70% believe that he's fulfilling his promises, and 45% believe Democrats should be more moderate. What do you take away? I think there's a lot to make of those numbers, but what's your takeaway from that?
My takeaway is just like the election. We've got to do better at education. People don't understand, but you will understand when those hospitals in rural America start closing down even more. You will understand when you don't have your Social Security. You will understand when your Medicaid, your Medicare goes away. You will understand as planes continue to fall out of the sky. Soon you will understand why it's important to maybe have somebody that isn't loud and ridiculous, and maybe Sleepy Joe is what we wanted because we could at least sleep at night.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Amen, child.
We know this was the saying of Governor Tim Walz a lot on the campaign trail, that Republicans need to mind their own damn business. And of course, that surely means staying out of, a woman's doctor's office and letting people live their lives how they want in their bedrooms and their homes and their family rooms, just to get out of people's lives. But minding your own damn business also means paying attention to your own damn state. We see Republicans from Louisiana, Texas, Georgia, and Florida saying that they don't want to support disaster relief to Los Angeles when Los Angeles County and California at large is paying a lot more in federal taxes than Louisiana, who desperately needs disaster relief. And I'm not going to say things are going too well over there, because they're certainly not. But how about Nancy Mace thinks about South Carolina and fixing their crumbling infrastructure and their dwindling economy? Like, I don't know. That's a good example of minding your own damn business, to focus on your own state. Clearly, she can't do that. She just wants to create controversy because she's obsessed with attention, because she's clearly a very broken person. Like, we can be upfront and honest about that. Nancy Mace has some actual issues. I don't think this is a bit. I think she's just struggling, which is pretty damn scary. But again, Republicans, focus on your own stuff. And Jasmine Crockett continued to make that point in a great interview I want to check out right here.
I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is that the Republicans believe our job is, because right now they have relinquished their constitutional duties over to an unelected bureaucrat, someone who no one went out to vote for.
Are you surprised by the prominence and the audacity of Elon Musk?
I am. I really am. I mean, he went from being the dork that was jumping around on stage to allegedly being this amazing genius that's going to save this entire country, the country that he wasn't born in, and a country that maybe he doesn't agree with the idea of a democratic republic, considering the fact that he may have been more so on the side of apartheid. So, yeah, I am shocked. And I'm also shocked that MAGA, who is clearly a cult, would allow somebody else to come in and do anything. Now, what we've seen, though, is that Donald Trump's approval ratings still supposedly are kind of either going up or holding, while Elon Musk is falling, right? So you've got the pushback of Steve Bannon. Like, the fact that I agree with him on anything in life really has me like, oh, yeah, we really are in the upside down right now. So I do think that there will be more hate that ends up being spewed towards him once people start to really wake up and realize, like, wait a minute, so you're telling me that I don't have any Social Security so that you could get an extra $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion in government contracts from my tax dollars, and or end up saving money on your taxes because you don't want to pay them, and I can't even find a job because we're headed towards a recession. That's what I want people to understand. I don't mean to be gloom and doom, but when you have somebody that is firing people from the 15th largest employer in the world, which is the federal government, and then when you are saying, let's kick out these amazing people that have actually contributed to our country in the form of building our homes, as you're complaining about the cost of homes. When you're talking about people that are going and working the farms, as you're complaining about the cost of food, as you're getting rid of people that are working on bird flu, and you're like, oopsie, didn't realize that's what you were doing. We are living with this incompetent administration that is literally driving us to a recession at warp speed. And all I can say is hold on to your money and make sure that you have a way to make money even if you lose your job, because there are people that believe that, oh, I don't work for the federal government, so I'm fine. But that's not the case. We just saw the Southwest Airlines did the biggest layoff that they have ever done in its entire existence. We continue to see private industries laying off. So many private companies rely on federal dollars.
What do you do when the Republicans are saying all of the quiet stuff out loud? You've got Tuberville saying that we just have to beg for carve-outs from the massive government cuts that Elon Musk is putting into place. Is that the new game? I mean, is that you have to go beg?
No, the divided states of America is where we live, right? We know that he was taunting the state of California when they had the fires. Thank goodness that we had allies that understand that all of the United States matter. And so we saw Canada come in, we saw Mexico come in. But the problem is that we have a president that is adversarial to states that don't vote for him. And so what some of these people fail to realize, down in Alabama, who's broke, down in Louisiana, who's broke. I can go through pretty much the entire South and tell you that they're broke, and they rely on a lot of welfare from the government. To be perfectly honest, it is tax dollars from these big blue states like New York. Yeah, they send a lot of money into taxes, and then broke states end up benefiting from it, and now they're about to find out. So we're in the find out phase, and you've got, you know, the other senator from Alabama. She decided to weigh in as well because the largest employer is University of Alabama. And guess what? They decided that they were going to cut all the research dollars. So research takes place at universities. So now you're going to have people in your already broke state that don't have jobs. The recession is coming. I told you here first.
What should Eric Adams do?
Listen, Eric is out for Eric right now, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I think that this is about, you know, what does the reputation need to be of Democrats in the state of New York, right? And so I think the question is more so, what is the governor going to do versus him? This is a guy that is trying to save his neck, and I don't know what I would do if I was potentially facing prison time. I don't know. I won't pretend to know. But I can tell you that there are other electeds that are in position that can make decisions, such as the governor. And I think that that is the bigger question is, what will the governor do? What makes most sense? Are we okay with the fact that there is a distraction from the real work that needs to be done on behalf of the people in the city of New York, and him and his issues are a distraction? He's got his top lieutenants that are resigning. We know that a number of people around him have already entered pleas of guilty. This may not necessarily be serving the people of the city of New York the best, and guess what? He's still on the ballot. So if they want to vote for him, they can.
Congresswoman, thank you for being here and fielding all of our questions today. It's great to see you. Another break for...
I hope you're not, and I don't know really how you could be, tired of the Jasmine Crockett show that has become this show, because we're just going to keep playing her clips because she is so spot on and her messaging is so perfect. It's so authentic to her, and it's really just what needs to be said and heard. So we're going to keep elevating her voice. We're having her back on the show soon. I'm excited about that, and I hope you are as well. And if you want to stay up to date on everything, as always, you can hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.